Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in their voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live that loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to the edition of Ken and Ken in the morning. Maui is playing in the bathroom sink with a cup. He found these cats. He's playing with one of these.
Oh, jeez.
He knocked one in the sink. Now he's made it a toy. You gotta love cats, man. Hey, good morning, Donna.
Good morning. Thanks. I was finishing.
Like,
I was finishing the morning grooming, man.
how do these controls work again? It is Monday. I forgot how this stuff works already. So hope everyone had a great weekend. Watch the combine. Watch people run around the field with no pads, no helmet, no pressure, looking in a perfect zone so that everything is easy. So they look really good. And some teams don't waste a draft pick on a guy they shouldn't waste a draft pick on. Hi, Richardson.
Well, okay, hold on. To be fair, Richardson should have got drafted, but nowhere near where he got drafted.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we put that caveat out there.
Now, however, some things have happened that we kind of predicted would happen. There's player news now. Like, for instance, the asking price for Max Crosby, good morning, Joe, is so high everyone's balking because they want Micah Parsons plus type of stuff. The problem is he's 2 years older than Micah, and they're trying to compare him to Micah and Mac. Well, unlike those two, he doesn't have the awards. So it's a weird conundrum that they're having because their asking price is so high, yet they're saying, well, his likely return is very slim now. It's like, yeah, the math don't math here.
Yeah, because it sounds like they're just trying to do the due diligence to say, they tried to make it up for Max and to find him something, but there just wasn't anything that met the value of Max.
Yeah,
I can see this kind of being a circle jerk to where they want to keep Max, but
yeah,
they're just saying it like that.
Read between the lines, man. They don't want to get rid of Max, and I actually haven't seen anything that says that Max is really wants to leave. Other than that, the stuff we were reading 2 weeks ago, I haven't seen anything new that says, hey, we got new news. Max wants even more now to leave. But
Joe, I agree with you.
So, the fact that they're asking for Micah plus, that should tell you right there that they have to say, well, our ears are always open, right? They have to say that because as a smart GM, you have to say that, right? But by asking for Micah plus, what they're saying is we really don't want to trade him. Just stop calling. We don't want to trade him.
It's a walk back because of all the stuff that happened at the end of the season, all the forever and the this and the that and the other. This is the classic walk back. It's a way of them being able to do kind of what you said and what Ken said, and it's a walk back. Mm-hmm. And if someone wants to pony it up, then they're like, well, okay then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic walk back. And unless something fractures or frays between Max and the team between now and camp, he's going nowhere. Or probably between now and the draft, because I don't think they do it after the draft. I don't know, they might, but I mean, it's a classic walk back. That's not even the big news, right? This is because we kind of all knew that this was going to be what it was going to be in terms of Max Crosby. The interesting thing, though, is the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, that's not even what I was going to go with. What do you got, Ken? Then we'll go with mine.
So the Vikings are considering Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, and maybe even possibly going after Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, because they are officially at this point moving on from JJ McCarthy. Now, there have been others on this show. There have been others on this show, and I'm not even specifically talking about just you guys. There have been others on this show who have been allowed to do their victory lap. And I just want to point out that I specifically said like 2 or 3 months ago that the Vikings should look to move on from JJ McCarthy this year. And
don't be
the
so
consensus
quick to run on the
is
track, Joe. They're not moving on from JJ. They want to create competition for JJ is the official line.
well, I actually read an article that says they want to move on from JJ.
I was going to say, if you bring in Kyler Murray or even Tua, I think that says you're moving on from him right there. That, yes, there will be a quarterback competition, but you don't bring in somebody that was already a relative, established a starter with relative success in this league when you're trying to bring on the new kid. It's not like you're bringing in a Joe Flacco red rifle type of shit here to where it's, oh, well, if he doesn't make it out, we got a competent guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they
Bringing in a
Tua in-
project guy like that means you got more faith in the project than him.
Yeah,
they're
I think
also looking at
Ken pointed
Anthony
at Geno, right?
They're also looking at Anthony Richardson, and a couple sources have stated that they're not ready to move on, but they want to create competition. So,
Well,
look,
one
I get it.
source said they're looking to move on. I read a specific source.
ESPN saying they're not, and same with CBS.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: if you just drafted a quarterback 2 years ago in the first round, and now you're out looking at free agent quarterbacks who were starters elsewhere,
Yeah,
is
but
the writing
Joe,
not on the wall for JJ McCarthy?
Oh, but no, not with the starters they're looking at. None of those guys are guys I'm going, ooh, I'm building my team around Tua or Kyler Murray or
I was going to say there is that talk with Kyler that you could still build a team around him if you can put him with somebody that can fix
the
him.
group they're looking at. At the group they're looking at, I mean, dude, think about it. Between Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith, Tua, I mean, these are guys that people are trying to get rid of. Kyler, too, to a degree. And I think you're right, though, Ken. Kyler could possibly have the most upside of all four of those guys. And now you've got a guy who's in his third year on a rookie deal. You're not giving up on him quite yet because, well, he's too inexpensive not to, at the same time, too expensive to give up on because you burned the first round pick early for him, but he's super cheap. So you bring one of these guys in, and here's what you're doing. You're like, if it can push him to be the starter, to be the guy we drafted, great. If not, he becomes a cheap backup for the next year. I mean, that's basically the way they're probably looking at it in Minnesota. It's like, it's the first year was a loss to injury. About half of last year was lost to injury, but he showed flashes, but he needs a proper push. So, I mean, I can see their thinking there. He gets a proper push. If he loses the job, we know to move on. We got a cheap backup. But if he excels, we got an expensive backup.
See, to me, that you're looking at Kyler Murray and even to a lesser extent Tua, that signals to me that this could end up being a Josh Rosen situation where you're ready to cut bait and abandon. Now, I do think you're right here, Ken, with the phrasing of it. If it's one of those two guys that, hey, we're taking the gamble either way. One of this way is going to come out. Now, if they had gotten, or if they get Richardson or Geno Smith, then I think JJ's safe.
Yeah.
At least for this year. But if it's one of the other two, I think he gets Josh Rosen.
So, I mean, that's going to be – and they've already dashed
up there, Isaac.
on Kirk Cousins. So, Kirk O'Chains is not going back to win.
And I would just like to point out, I think Kyler Murray could be successful on Minnesota. They have an offensive line that's better than they have in Arizona. They have two good receivers in Minnesota. Their defense is still somewhat competent, and even though they're aging,
Richardson's the only one I look at of that list and go. Isaac, you've got
Echo.
Yeah, background noise.
Yeah,
Yep.
you do.
Well, not background noise. We're getting
But like
feedback.
even Tua,
Getting back.
Even Tua with those receivers, given that Minnesota's line is better than Miami's, could be somewhat dangerous.
I honestly think I would take 3 out of the 4 of them, and the 4th one I wouldn't take would be Geno. Because Geno, I think Geno is totally freaking cooked. Tua, I think you could squeeze another year or 2 out of. And Richardson, granted, albeit it is a giant, massive gamble, but with KOC supposedly being a quarterback whisperer, that's the guy I would take over Geno just for the gamble.
So you haven't read the latest news?
What?
Now, apparently, the whole league thinks that Geno was held back by the Raiders' offense last year. So that's the new narrative. That's the new narrative. Apparently, the Raiders' offense threw all those interceptions for Geno.
I was going to say, okay, let's walk the dog here on this.
My goodness.
It was the Raiders' offense was so inept. Was the Raiders' offense so bad it made him suck his last year in Seattle too?
Yeah, well, But hey, they're not going to get Indiana Jones because Indiana, the Colts, are prepared to use the tag on transition tag.
Have they actually made the decision yet? Because I know that they were whiff-waffling between him and the receiver.
As of 11 p.m. last night, no, but they're still working a deal, so that could have happened this morning. I just haven't seen it yet. They're working on a deal for him and Alec Pierce. But they're prepared to use a transition tag, which is the right of first refusal tag, pretty much. So there's no draft compensation if you were to walk, but they get the right to match anyone. So that's not like a pricey tag to use, actually. Also, the Jets and the Falcons are showing interest in Jacoby Brissett, but you would think the Cardinals will want to retain him if they get rid of Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I'm the Cardinals, that's what I'm doing. Is I'm keeping Jacoby Brissett because he for some reason he's making that offense hum over there. Go for it. But are you ready for? Go ahead and then I'll switch.
Unless Arizona has their eyes on a certain quarterback who's going to be a free agent this year that happens to be in their division, named Mac Jones.
But no, well, Indianapolis is trying to. I'm sorry, wrong.
Yeah.
Jones. Yeah, that's possible. Well, I haven't seen much on him. What do you got, Ken?
All right. Well, you know how the Texans absolutely fucking hate CJ Stroud?
Sure.
Well, here goes another point to further how much they fucking hate CJ Stroud. The Browns have agreed to acquire Titus Howard from the Texans in a trade for the offensive tackle on a 3-year, $63 million extension. What have we been bitching about all season long and all last season? That they keep taking away from his offensive line instead of adding to it. That offensive line is the massive weakness of that team.
But hey,
are they trying to kill him?
Joe Burrow's hold my beer.
Well, look, they can go ahead and add Kenneth Walker, who may leave Seattle as a free agent.
Oh, cool. Now you got a quarterback and a running back that won't be able to do anything because as soon as the ball gets snapped, the defenders, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, can we laugh at the Lions though real quick? They traded David Montgomery.
They did?
Yeah, when did this happen? Because I haven't seen that yet.
They traded him for a 4th and the 7th round pick to the Texans.
When did this happen?
Just happened right now.
Well, I'm pulling Shefty up.
Yeah. They just traded fucking David Montgomery.
Oh my
Remember
God.
Lions
a 5th
fans?
round pick. So the Lions are getting a 4th round pick, offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, and a 7th round pick for David Montgomery.
Wow!
Wait.
Remember Lions fans were like, David Montgomery's not getting traded. He's Sonic and Knuckles.
Hold on. So I'm sorry, Isaac. So you said that the Texans are trading an offensive lineman to the
Yes.
Lions in exchange for Montgomery. And then Ken, you just got done saying that they just traded another offensive lineman to somebody else, right? To the
Yes.
Browns.
So my point of them hating fucking CJ Stroud still stands
At
with
this-
this. But
So,
Fred,
I don't think it just
I
stands,
hate that
Ken.
we
Like,
had to be the ones to break it to you. But fucking ha! And that's not to you. That's to all the other Lions fans that I seen glazing the ever living fuck out of this guy
there was a
on
guy.
how much he loves Detroit and he ain't ever going anywhere.
Oh,
Bye bye.
there was a guy who was just ripping on JB the other day for falling to the quote-unquote clickbait nonsense on David Montgomery, that there's no confirmed source backing that he might want to leave or anything. And this was 22 hours ago. This guy posted on X. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to dime him out.
Mhm.
But here was this guy on X just lambasting Jeremy on this because JB was talking about the possibility. And here we go. 4 minutes ago, the Texans get David Montgomery. The Lions get a 4th-round pick, an offensive lineman named Juice Scruggs, who I don't know, and a 7th-round pick. Wow.
Because Lions fans have this delusion of grandeur that everybody loves Detroit and wants to be there. It's like that's not the case.
and this dude who was roasting JB, did he not hear the fact that JB was actually at the combine, so might have been privy to hear some of those conversations happening, like those conversations that we specifically talked about happen at the combine, like, so to me that's ultimate, like,
it's just like when Green Bay.
if I'm JB, I don't even say shit. I just sit back with like a smug look on my face.
Oh no! Full victory lap. At least that's what I did. Because when I had the exact same situation when Green Bay was getting ready to release Aaron Jones. About 3-4 days before it happened, I put out a fucking post about it, and you wouldn't believe the fucking response that I got. That I'm a moron. I don't know what I'm talking about. All clickbait crap. Oh, that victory lap was so sweet.
Hey, fellas.
Well, let's not just dump on Lions fans, because the Vikings are going to lose Javon Hargrave and Aaron Jones have both been told that they're going to be released if they can't be traded. And the Chiefs informed Juwan Taylor of the same thing. If we can't trade you, you'll be released. What I don't get is why do you make this known? Because now no one's going to trade for you if they can just pick you up as a free agent on the cheap.
Right.
And what I don't get is, so the Texans already had one of the worst offensive lines in football, and you just gave up your starting center and another guy. Like, unless literally your plan this year is we're just going offensive line through the whole draft, like we're going to just rebuild an entire offensive line, which still doesn't look good for Stroud for this year, at least. Like,
right. They might make it a running team now. I mean, you got Woody Marks, you got David Montgomery, and you got Mixon. I mean, but it looks like Mixon's in a dire situation now. But hey, fellas, though, can we have a moment of silence for Sonic and Knuckles?
No.
Yeah, man. I think we had to have a moment of silence for them already, because Sonic sure got shut down a couple times this fucking year. What's he gonna do without his battering ram?
dude.
Have you seen his stats this past year against top 5 defenses? It's not good for Gibbs.
Yeah, but you know what?
They made their running game a lot worse last year by not using Monty. And that's why we were saying why Monty wanted out, right? Because, like, when they were doing the tandem, they were both eating. And it's like, well, we're just going to go away from Monty. And the running game went to crap. Like, he was the key in that cog, that machinery they had up there. He was part of a big cog of that. And they willingly took him out of it. And, like, so Montgomery, I don't blame him for leaving, because dude, he was good in Chicago, and they just didn't want to pay him. That's fine. We paid the same money as Swift, and I'm fine with that too. But Montgomery would have been good to keep. But yeah, Dan Campbell. That's all you can
If
say.
you're the Lions, though, does that mean that you're looking for a running back in this draft?
You have to. I
You
just
have
Maybe. Yeah.
You're not gonna, they're open to maybe get a Manon guy, a value pick where they're not paying as much for a running back. To me, that's what part of it says. That
Yeah,
they're
I was gonna. Yep, I was gonna say because don't forget that Gibbs is gonna be getting a big deal here.
If I was the Lions,
Montgomery's expensive though.
Oh, I've been hearing it's somewhere around fucking $20 million a year.
Montgomery,
For who? Gibbs?
no.
oh yeah, he's gonna be the
Gibbs.
highest paid running
Gibbs.
back, 100%.
Oh, no, yeah,
Not-
Gibbs, but Montgomery was cheap.
I don't think he was cheap, but it wasn't like he was
6, 7
breaking the
mil.
bank.
Let me see if I don't think over the cap's got moved him yet. I doubt they have.
Well,
Montgomery was
my point of
8.3
it.
mil.
Yeah, my point of it though is you got to now start to skimp and save everywhere because you put $20 million in one man, or allegedly that's what you're going to put into one man is $20 million. That running back room has to be run off of rookie contracts otherwise.
Yeah, I knew this was
Dude.
coming for Lions. I've been trying to warn Lions fans. As soon as they went to the 2025 game plan, right? They said they were going to get Gibbs more involved in the passing game and, and basically, touches for a running back. This spelled all disaster for David Montgomery. That
Mhm.
means you're not part of the game plan. Gibbs is going to get the ball way more. And not only that, he's going to be pass catching, which means less opportunities for you. So I don't blame Montgomery for getting the fuck out of there,
And that's just, oof, I mean,
But yeah, but for poor Montgomery though, like he's going to a place now, like because Montgomery actually still has a little tread left on the tires, man. But he's going to a place. He's going to a place now where, like, he's going to be getting hit in the backfield every time he touches the ball, man. And on top of that, the Texans gave up draft capital. That's the thing that, like, I'm just like,
well,
you gave up offensive linemen, and now you gave up draft capital that you could use to get offensive linemen. Like
for Montgomery, though,
I didn't see offensive linemen though.
Hold on, Isaac.
Okay.
For Montgomery, it's like a big fuck you from the Lions, though, because remember he came back injured or didn't have surgery to make sure he could be back for that playoff game. He did everything he could for the team, and the team responded by taking everything away from him last year and now dumping him off to Texas. Now, granted, they got a little bit of a haul for him. A minor haul, not a big haul. I mean, I wouldn't call, was it a 4th, a 7th, and an offensive lineman who, last year, but had some upside, a massive haul. But it was a big FU to Montgomery from the Lions in a way, too, to ship him off like that and do what they did. I don't understand that because Montgomery, when he was in Chicago, always did what asked, never complained, work. And that's part of why Bears fans really liked him. He would do everything. And we were sad to see him go. Remember, when he went to the Lions, we all wished him well. No one wished him ill will, even going to a division rival. That's how much people in Chicago respected Montgomery. But what did the Lions do? Completely disrespectful.
Yeah, Lions fans had a glimmer of hope when he said, I'm getting traded. When he basically responded to all the rumors. And then the next day he gets traded.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting traded. Yeah, you are, buddy. Oh.
Yeah, you really are. Oh, wait a minute.
apparently
That's
they knew
good.
Let me erase that tweet.
along with all my pictures of the Lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you imagine how he's gotta feel? Literally just saying that yesterday, and they trade him today. You don't give a shit what I say, do you?
That's
horrendous.
Yeah, and then
look at these trades already this morning. We're starting to see the shoes drop. The Montgomery trade, Shefty, he posted again. No, same thing. I hate when Schefter reposts his post 2 seconds after he posted it. By the way, Dalton Reisner on the Bengals agreed to a 1-year, $5 million deal. So he's staying put, because the Bengals need all the offensive line help they need, I guess. And really, that's about it. I mean, but we're going to start seeing player movement. This is what happens when you come out of the combine, right? These GMs have been talking all weekend, and now we're going to start to see some deals get finalized. And yes, Justin, the Bears will still be the Chicago Bears. We haven't gotten any movement. But what really peeved me off on that whole thing this week is Thursday, the state of Indiana basically signed the deal on their side, right? Completed it. Hey, here you go. Here's everything you asked for. Illinois said, well, we'll barely let it get out of committee, which it did get out. Yeah, I mean, it won by a decent chunk. It wasn't like it squeaked out. And then they came to debate on the floor, and they're like, yeah, you know what? It's not that important. We'll wait a couple more weeks. So Bears fans right now are really going, what the hell is going on? Indiana's got a deal. Illinois hasn't even debated it yet. And remember, you got to go through the House, the Senate, and then the governor to get to the deal. And now you got a huge faction in Chicago trying to poo-poo the deal because they're claiming property taxes and why should we build a stadium? And the propaganda machine is doing the propaganda machine thing because the Bears are building the stadium. I mean, we've been over this a million times. People watch the show know. They don't want to pay $200 million a year in property tax. They're willing to pay what they pay for SoFi, $9 million a year, but not $200 million a year in property tax. And they want the infrastructure done, which is, by the way, the what government's supposed to do anyway. That's it. I'm taking it as this, guy. The Bears want to give the state of Illinois every last opportunity to build on land that they own. Do you know what I mean? They rather own their shit rather than rent to own it.
Yeah, it's a virtual seesaw.
And then Mike is like, well, there's stuff hidden in the deal in Indiana, which I haven't seen, but he's convinced there is, so I'm going to let him run with it, that, if you violate one little thing in the deal, Indiana can keep the whole thing. I don't know about that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the stadium thing in Chicago, man, needs to be done and over with, and they just need to figure it out. And luckily, there was no big news this weekend, so now we get to all revel in the David Montgomery news. But dude, they got to figure something out in Chicago.
It's not just the David Montgomery news.
Yeah.
At this point, let me ask you guys a serious question. At this point, do you think there is any chance that CJ Stroud stays in Houston? Like, I mean, I know they got him. I know they got his rookie contract, and then they could theoretically tag him for 2 years after that. But if I'm CJ Stroud at this point, I'm already like, yeah, you might be able to keep me for the next few years, but eventually I'm getting the fuck off this team, dude. Like,
I want to know, when is CJ Stroud legally allowed to file a restraining order against the Houston owners? Because this is past abuse now.
I think though, like they're gonna spend most of their draft on linemen. Like, I mean, defense is all set, offense is pretty set. Like, there's no other place. Their biggest weakness is linemen. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna spend a lot of draft capital on that.
What are they looking at for wide receivers, though? I mean, Nico Collins.
I mean, they got Nico Collins, and they got Dalton Schultz as a tight end, and they have the running backs now. Are all set.
Hey, what's the deal with Tank Dell? Like, is he just done? Like, was that leg injury just like a career ender?
Yeah, his legs are like Alex Smith.
Knox for the Bears, Knox was a good young receiver the Bears had years ago. And I remember he had that back injury in the playoff game against the Seahawks, and we never saw him again. I think Tank Dell is going to be in that same boat. The injury,
Tank Dell's legs are fucked.
That's really unfortunate because Tank Dell was looking like he was going to turn into a super.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, his legs are fucked.
You notice as soon as Tank Dell went down, that's when the Houston Texans, the whole trajectory went down. Yep. Like, that was Stroud's guy, dude.
Yeah.
But do you guys honestly think that Stroud is going to stay in Houston?
Well, I'm looking at his contract right now. There's no fifth-year option. They didn't pick the fifth-year option on him. This is the last year he's on a contract.
Every morning I wake up, I pray to God that they don't pick up that fucking option, and you can find your way out of there relatively soon. Mm-hmm. That way you can actually turn your career around and not have to be like Sam Darnold or somebody like that's got to bounce around for a little bit before you get a real chance again.
And the thing is, like, here's the weird thing though with the fifth-year option thing that's hard to read into, right? Because we've seen that some teams do this. they don't pick up the 5th-year option because they know they're just going to sign the guy anyways. They go, hey, Ken, I'm not going to pick up your 5th-year option because I want to give you a contract instead, right? And I don't know why that's the way, because honestly, the 5th-year option is probably going to be cheaper than what you would pay him anyways, right? But I mean, so I don't know. I would almost want that as a safety net in case I can't get a deal done in time. But some of these
Is a
court now is, well, we're not going to pick up your 5th year, but we want to give you a long-term extension.
As a quarterback, I wouldn't worry about that as much because you know you're going to get signed at some point. They don't just let quarterbacks walk out the door without trying massively hard.
I hate to see it, but like I think I would hate to see it, but I think the Lions are waiting on the Aaron Jones news. You know what I mean? To swoop up on Aaron Jones.
Well, I mean,
What about
look, the
Gibbs?
Vikings already said they're going to cut him if he can't
Mhm.
get traded. I mean, there's a couple guys like that.
And what do we see when a guy gets cut from a team in the division? They go somewhere between in the division. So
I mean,
Lions could be a home for him.
So Aaron Jones is trying to complete the NFC North trifecta.
Yeah.
He's trying to play for every team in the division.
Well, you probably won't play for the Bears.
He'll be a Bear in 2 years.
Nah. The bear killer can't be a bear.
But
Yeah.
but I want to talk about CJ Stroud because I like the consensus or the word going around about Stroud now is, oh, we overestimated him based on his rookie year and this and that. I actually don't think that's the case. I think he's a very talented quarterback who's in a shit situation, and I think if he could get to another team that's halfway competent, you would see that rookie year CJ Stroud come back immediately.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's my personal take on it.
I'm right there with you. I think they're David Carr.
So
right now.
if I'm Stroud, you better use that 5th-year option, because if you're offering me a long-term extension, there's no fucking way I'm signing it, dude. Like, I'm going to tell you straight up, like, go ahead and get, go ahead and just stick that back in your pocket.
And on top of that,
good. The Cowboys did tag Pickens. Go figure there. The Jets and Titans made a trade, of course. As an edge rusher, is Jermaine Johnson for T'Vondre Sweat, which is an interesting deal. Kyle Pitts did get tagged by the Falcons. And by the way, the Browns are doing a QB competition as well, with Deshaun Watson still under contract, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel.
Damn, how long was that contract, dude? Like, how many more fucking years are they going to have to pay this guy?
It's 25 years, man, fully guaranteed.
Oh, and by the way,
until he dies.
Tyler Linderbaum situation that Joe's been paying a close look at. It's looking to be over $20 million per year is what the Ravens have offered.
Jesus.
That's okay. The Raiders will give him 25.
Oh, wait, there's more.
He's extra five on top, bro.
AJ Brown is being shopped for a 1st and 2nd round pick.
I've been hearing some rumors about him going to New England.
New England might be willing to give that up.
That would make
to me,
sense.
that seems kind of steep.
And then of course we've got the whole thing we talked about Aaron Jones, but Javon Hargrave is going to be a free agent too. He might get they said, hey, we're going to cut you if we can't trade you to the Vikings. This sounds like the Vikings and the Lions are starting to move in that downward trajectory instead of the upward trajectory.
And another player that's going to be available is the Eagles are releasing Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean's a really good, solid player.
They're releasing him?
Yeah, I think he's either his contract is up or they're releasing him. But
I haven't seen any news
and
on
I hope
him.
the Raiders make him an offer, dude. Nakobe Dean, I wanted him ever since he came out of Georgia. Like, that dude's a beast.
Oh, since he came back from injury with the Eagles, he was on fire.
The Jets are talking to Breece Hall, but if they can't get a contract, they're going to tag him.
I thought they were getting rid of Breece Hall.
No, that's what we thought too. We thought he was going to be traded trade deadline. Nope. They're trying to extend him, and they're trying. And if they can't, they'll tag him. I mean, look at Pitt's already got, tags. I mean, Does this stuff surprise you this year with the way some of this is going? I mean, and we got some pretty decent
Yeah, because I
sized
think
names.
And
Houston and Atlanta
big news.
are. Oh, go ahead.
oh yeah, I was saying there's big news about Trent Williams too. That Niners can't
Yeah.
come to a deal with him.
Yeah, I've been hearing that he might be on the market here too.
Malik Willis could receive $30 million a year average. Might
Mhm.
be too much for Miami.
I've been hearing a whole bunch on that he is supposedly looked at as the number one quarterback this year, and he's going to be getting himself a nice hefty paycheck.
Yeah, number one, basically, player to be sought after right now.
Mhm.
Good for him.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to get himself a good payday.
I just hope for his sake that he doesn't turn into Matt Flynn.
Right?
I hope for our sake he does turn into Matt Flynn, and I mean exactly. Get himself a nice paycheck and then come back and be
I
our
mean, wouldn't
backup.
that be apropos? I mean, that
I'm
was
all
no,
for it.
funny.
Rodgers had Matt Flynn. Love can have Willis.
Yeah, but
Right.
Ken, think about this. It actually looks better for you. It actually. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say it actually looks better for you, Ken, if he doesn't turn into Matt Flynn, because then it's like you took a guy who was a cast off from another team, turned him into a serviceable starter in the league, and sent him on his way. Like that shows that you guys can develop a quarterback. Whereas
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but for purely selfish reasons, I want him back.
Actually,
real
Joe,
quick-
forget his
real quick,
success in
guys.
the NFL. You just selfishly want him to stay a Packer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The 7th round pick that the Lions are getting is for the 2027 draft, not this year. Also, just to make
Wow.
the Lions feel even worse about it, the players in Lions history with 2,500 plus rush yards and 30 touchdowns in their career, guess who's number one on that list?
Monty.
Montgomery.
Monty, then Tibbs, then Sanders, then Billy Sims, then Dutch Clark.
Man, that's
In
bad.
3 years with the Lions, he had 2,500 rushing yards, 33 touchdowns.
Actually, Joe makes a good point. I actually want Willis to be good. That way we can get a compensatory pick for Willis.
Shit. Hopefully he lights the league on fire, then we get one of the fucking
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Is it what kind of free agent is he?
Yeah, he's
He's
still
unrestricted.
I think
He's unrestricted.
he's still restricted. I gotta check.
No, he's a free agent. Yeah, he's a free agent this year, so I think he's unrestricted.
Oh shoot! All right, then we don't get a compensatory pick. Damn.
No. Speaking of compensation,
I thought-
picks, the Bears are still trying to get theirs for Ian Cunningham. Even Ian Cunningham's like, yeah, why wouldn't the Bears get compensation picks for me leaving as the assistant GM to now be the GM of Atlanta? I wouldn't have this job if not for that job and them letting me go. And so even the Falcons are agreeing with the Bears that the Bears should get compensation picks from the NFL, and the NFL is still waffling on it because of the title that the Falcons gave Matty Ice. It's kind of weird. So that drama is still playing as well. Speaking of compensation picks.
Well, I'll make a deal with you. Let us get a comp pick for Willis, and you can have one for that. Otherwise, we got to side with the NFL here and say that Matty Ice is the true GM.
By the
Yeah,
rules,
we're haggling here. We're haggling.
What they're saying is because the Bears didn't have to let Ian Cunningham go or let them talk to him. Your quarterback.
Hey Ken, I think you're on mute. Or
no.
No, you're gonna say I hear him fine.
I'm fine.
Oh, really? Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I can't hear him.
With the Bears,
I can hear
Cunningham-
you, but I can't hear him. That's weird.
with the Bears, they didn't have.
I guess
to let
I'll
the
drop
Falcons-
off and come back on.
Mm-hmm.
With the Bears, they didn't have to let the Falcons talk to Cunningham. So even Cunningham's like, yeah, I was hired as a GM. They should get the compensation picks. But the NFL first said, well, because of the Matty Ice hire and the way they hired, the title they gave him, I think the Bears will end up getting something when the two franchises both agree, right? The NFL's got to go. Okay, look, if the both franchises are agreeing with this,
I was going to say this is the NFL. Tell me that you haven't seen them multiple times screw over people with that. Oh yeah, we agree on that. Well, you don't fit our bylaws for X reason.
I'm in a way kind of surprised with this whole Monty deal, and then with the stuff going on with the Texans. It's like kind of like you look at the Texans, you're like, what are the Texans doing? Getting rid of. I mean,
sorry guys.
Monty is that's cool. Monty's value for them, and he will look at. And Monty does help with maybe some of the offensive line help because he's a good blocker too.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes, I mean, CJ. I mean, it makes you wonder what are they doing in the Texans? Yeah, your defense is phenomenal, but dude, you keep taking away from CJ Stroud. Like your defense is good, you don't need to be taking away from your offense anymore. I mean, granted, adding Monty was a good pickup for them, but you've gotten rid of 2 offensive linemen in a league that's starved for offensive linemen right now.
Where are the Texans as far as cap space?
It won't reflect the trade yet, but let me see where they were just before the trade. The Texans, I believe, they're negative 9.2 mil. And that's before these trades. So I don't know where they'll shake out now. But like Danielle Hunter, they're stuck with him. Let me see if they can restructure Danielle. They can restructure Danielle Hunter and save like 16 mil. Nico Collins can be restructured, save 14. Derek Stingley, they can restructure and save 15. And then after that, they got some, a mil here, 200,000 here. Well, you got 2 guys that can restructure and get 7 mil apiece. And that's Elise Alshire and Jalen Petrie. Dalton Schultz and Algier. Petrie, they can save 5 mil. So they got a couple guys they can restructure, but dude, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel because you don't have that many guys you can restructure.
Well, if they were to restructure all those guys, plus with the cap increase, that would put them around 50 or 60 million cap space.
Yeah, and then you can spend it all on one guy. Now you're creating a situation, though. You got like 2 or 3 years top.
Well, I don't know about all on one guy, but I mean, at least they could go and try to find at least one offensive lineman in free agency and try to draft the rest, I guess, because it's going to be really hard to draft an entire offensive line and have them be serviceable. Like,
I'm telling you, something's going to come out years down the line that there's some kind of beef with CJ Stroud and somebody in that building. Because to me, nothing makes sense here unless there's some type of personal vendetta. Because
just straight up sabotage.
Yeah, because how can you be this inept at building a football team when it's like flashing lights glaring at you type of shit? You get what I'm saying here, Joe?
No, I don't disagree.
Nick Chubb is going to be gone. Joe Mixon could get cut with Monty coming there now because he's been hurt so much. They may just cut him. If they cut Mixon, let me see what they say if they cut Mixon. And what do they make of a post June 1st? They save $8 million by cutting Mixon. So that right there puts them almost cap compliant, $1.2 million away from being cap. Well, yeah, about that. They're pretty close to cap compliancy just by doing that. So I don't know. They could do nothing in terms of free agency. Take the 20 mil from the NFL and draft.
Yeah, but now you have to hope that you have the best offensive line scouting department in the fucking league, dude.
Yep, because if you miss on one of them, that's going to put you in a terrible spot. And how many times do we sit here and talk that the crapshoot of the draft just constantly gets worse the further you go down?
But guys, the Lions, oh my God. I mean, is that a team that's going south?
Yeah, but
it's too early to call that.
Yeah,
to me, it's
massively
too early.
Depends on what they do with their offensive line.
Yeah, and also their running back situation. Like they're obviously they want to give more touches to Gibbs, but you still need like you got the lightning guy. Now you need a hammer, So like you
Yeah,
can get one in the
for sure.
draft in the later rounds. Like I don't think that's too big of a deal, but just what are you going to do with your offensive line? Plus you have Goff's contract, which is a huge albatross. Like what's his cap hit this year? Isn't it like 70 million or something like
I
that?
think it's 69 million.
Like that's the elephant in the room that nobody seems to want to address is like, dude, you got to do something about that.
Yeah.
Well, they can restructure him. They can restructure him and save upwards of 40 million if they restructure. So, yeah, and Penei Sewell is the big. Look at their big cap numbers for the Lions this year. Goff at 69, St. Brown at 33, McNeil at almost 29, Sewell at 28, Decker at 21. I mean, they got some big hits. 17 for DJ Reed. Hutch is only 10 million.
I mean, Aleem McNeil is a good player, but I don't think he's worth a $29 million cap hit, dude. Just my opinion.
His guaranteed salary is 19 mil this year.
Two.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him as a $20 million a year player myself. He's a good player.
You can cut Decker and save 17.9 mil to make him a post-June 1st cut.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be taking anything away from that offensive line. You got to add more to it.
You got to keep adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I tell you what, JB show is going to be interesting in about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, we hear you. Do you hear anybody besides me?
Yeah, I hear everybody now. For whatever reason, when Joe drops off, it affects Ken's audio. Ken, the Bear fan. It's weird because that happened last time. Yeah, what's going on? But supposedly Lions fans are now crying and complaining because Suggs sucks, the lineman that they got back. So the trade is even worse now.
I was going to say Broski seems to like him.
I guess Broski's.
No, he didn't. Did he?
Yeah, Broski said he's a serviceable dude. What he actually said though was that a 4th, a 7th, and Scruggs for Montgomery is a good deal. Yeah,
maybe Broski's in the outlier.
No, Broski likes him because he's a Penn Stater. That's why.
Oh yeah, there we go. But no, I usually hear all the other Lions fans. They're like, "Oh, sucks. What the hell is this?"
Well, actually, so just to provide some context, when Scruggs was drafted, he was actually the highest rated center in the draft the year he was drafted. Now, whether he panned out in the NFL is open for debate, but he was the highest rated center in the draft when he was drafted.
Well,
we'll see how they use him. Yeah, we'll see how they use him. Because right now the center fucking is a glaring issue for the Detroit Lions right now.
And going to the Lions, like Aaron Jones could go for the trifecta for 3 of the 4 teams, but you know what? I don't know if he's healthy enough to be the hammer in Detroit. Would you want Aaron Jones is not a hammer.
No,
what Aaron Jones is.
He can power through occasionally, but you don't want to rely on that for your bread and butter out of him. He is much more of the elusive type.
Well, yeah, Aaron Jones. What Aaron Jones is he's a quarterback's friend. Like when you're in trouble and fucking are about to get sacked, Aaron Jones gets those dump offs and he runs for like.
No sense to me why Minnesota is walking away from him and like Minnesota, the moves they're making is another one that makes you scratch your head and go, is this team going south, or what are they doing here in Minnesota? Like, if you're a Vikings fan, you got to be scratching your head a little bit with some of these moves they're making.
Oh yeah, that's another team I see that's starting to fucking implode.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they got rid of Quezzy, which I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but
Well, I do think it was good to get rid of Quezzy, but not when they did, because now they have no general manager, and they're not even going to look for one till after the draft.
And
That
I don't
just
care
sounds
what
like you're getting set up for failure to me.
Viking fans say. I think KOC has a lot to do with them picking JJ McCarthy. You know what I mean? I don't think Quessy was alone in this.
Yeah, but I actually think so. The Lions, I think, we'll see. But with the Vikings, I don't think they're necessarily imploding. I agree with Ken about the GM situation. I think that's just absolutely terrible management. But as far as the roster is concerned, Aaron Jones is another year older. I could see why you might want to move on and get younger at the running back position. The quarterback thing is where I like that to me is going to tell me what the Vikings are really doing. Like if they go and get Geno, it's like, okay, so you're rolling with JJ. But if they go get Kyler Murray, like I said, I actually think they could do well with Kyler Murray. Like if they could
but here's
protect
the
him.
thing, though, Joe, is like, I mean, look at if you're going to cut Aaron Jones and these guys who are Juwan Taylor for the Chiefs, for example, he's another one that fits in the same category I'm about to talk to him. And these are all guys who you would think, okay, if I can draft and replace him, cool. So to me, it would seem like, okay, I wait for the draft, right?
Uh,
And see if I can draft the replacement. I wouldn't just cut these guys at the beginning of the league year if I can't trade them. I at least hold on or Hargrave. Like, okay, like I'm gonna dump Hargrave and these guys before we even get to the draft to hopefully draft a replacement. You think you'd hold on to them. If you can't get a trade, you hold on to them in case you can't get what you're looking for in the draft, because then at least you still have them. So let's say you cut Aaron Jones because we're gonna get a running back in the draft, but now all of a sudden the way the stars align during the draft, you don't get your guy. Kind of screwed. You had the guy under contract.
though, I think Jordan Mason deserves that RB1. Jordan Mason is pretty good, so like, he's like, I think what he's comparable to is almost like Jalen Warren is for the Steelers. You know what I mean? Like he's a really good, solid back. So
Yeah, but I mean,
I can
like,
see.
if you're going to make this guy a post-June first designation,
Mhm.
why cut him before the draft? Like, any of
Yeah.
these guys, I get what you're saying, Isaac. I mean, Mason, fine, maybe he should be RB1, but if you're not going to get the RB you need in the draft to pair with them, why don't you keep what works?
Well, there's also the aspect of, maybe Aaron Jones he realizes that they're looking to move on, and so they're doing him a solid by like, we'll cut you, we'll designate you post June 1st, but we'll let you go when the league year starts so you can catch on with the team right away.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, look, at some of it's probably for them, for the Vikings, it's cap. The same with Hargrave, it's cap, right? I mean, some of these guys, it's a cap move. We can't trade you because they all have big contracts. It's a cap move, right? I mean, I get it. Teams are going to save some money. They're going to get to re-sign contracts for decent money. They're not going to get as big as money they had. But for the new team, they're kind of getting a discount, right? Because they're going to get paid from the former team a little bit. It's not quite a Jim Edmonds deal, which if you guys don't remember who Jim Edmonds is from baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals gave Jim Edmonds this massive contract, right? Then traded him to San Diego. He was in San Diego for a year where he signed an extension. And then San Diego dropped him, and the Cubs picked him up for the league minimum while he was still getting paid by St. Louis and San Diego.
Yeah. I remember
that. You talk about winning free agency.
Cashing 3 checks, baby.
To be on my Angels.
Cashing 3 checks, baby.
Yeah. And so, I get it. So Jones can cash a check from the Vikings and whomever, and he can latch on. And look at it. It gives a team that maybe would have drafted a running back. Now they won't because they signed Aaron Jones. Or they Hargrave, for at defensive tackle. I mean, I get it. It's just weird. I'm seeing there are 3 big names, 3 good players who are in that boat. If we can't, I don't get why they tell them if we can't get a trade, we'll cut you at the new league year. I mean, most teams out there are going, cool, we'll just wait.
I think if they're still planning to, start JJ McCarthy and still trying to give him a chance.
Yeah,
I
it's
think they're
competition based is what they're saying.
Yeah, I think what they're doing too is like trying to get some more linemen in because like the linemen that they picked up in the offseason really didn't pay them off dividends. They weren't that good, so what's called they probably looking to shore up that area where keep JJ McCarthy more clean in the pocket to buy him some time.
Good morning, Jack Wagon.
Oh, I can't let Yinzer come in without his fucking personal greeting card.
Yeah, I mean the McCarthy thing I think is more competition based. I mean, look, you're in year 3 of a rookie deal, of a first round pick, and you haven't really seen much because he's been injured a lot.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Isaac. I think it's more competitive based, but it's one of those things. If they bring in Kyler Murray, they can walk away from him too. If Kyler Murray, who's still got a lot of gas in the tank, shows that he can be the guy.
If they brought in Kyler Murray, I wouldn't be shocked if JJ ends up getting cut at the end of training camp.
If they bring
I wouldn't go that far because he's still going to be a cheap backup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
no matter what, I keep him as a backup for this year, just so that he can sit and learn behind Kyler and whatever. But it's a $10 million backup. But eventually, you're gonna.
I was gonna say you can get a hell of a lot better backup for $10 million. Do you really want to back up that's injury prone? Your starter goes down, your backup comes in for 2 snaps, and now you're on to the third. You get what I'm saying here?
It's a fair point, but what you're saying bleeds into exactly what I was saying, that I think the Vikings are actually looking to move on from JJ. Like, I think if they get Kyler, it's the writing's on the wall. Like,
Yeah, if they get Kyler, I would break his Call of Duty game.
If you cut JJ McCarthy, you take $9.7 million in dead cap, and you lose 3.7 on the cap. You go negative cap. You have no cap savings. And considering that his cap number this year is only $5.9 million, you're taking a massive net loss to cut JJ McCarthy. So no, they're not going to cut JJ McCarthy this year because it makes no financial sense. Remember, first round pick, fully guaranteed contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you're in cap L, which they are, why would you make yourself go negative another $3 million if you don't have to, and take $9 million dead cap?
That's why I said keep him on the roster as a backup. Until you can cut him with no dead money, but still, like.
Do you think there's any team out there that would take a flyer on him for a trade? Granted, it would have to be it
depends on the compensation. Like you're definitely not getting a first or a second round pick for him.
No.
I think it depends on who loses out on the free, because there are a lot of veteran free agent quarterbacks and some veterans for trade out there. I think what happens is if you've got a quarterback needy team that doesn't get a quarterback, that could be an avenue of possibility for you. But
I could name one team right now that might be willing to take a chance on him. The Jets.
Yeah.
Dude.
If I'm Minnesota and I want Kyler Murray, I'm gonna tell him straight up, I'm gonna break your Call of Duty game. I want you to focus.
Or he's part of the trade package to get Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Another quarterback.
What they're saying though, because Minnesota's saying we're not trying to get rid of JJ, we're trying to create a competition. Which to me says if you're some of these free agent guys, the bigger name free agent guys, you're not going to sign there. You don't want competition. You want to get signed somewhere you're going to be the starter. But if you're Kyler Murray and get traded there, you have no say. If
Mac Jones is another option too.
You have no say.
Mac Jones is another option too.
If the Niners can't keep him, yeah.
Oh.
But now you're in a bidding war with guys like Arizona who want Mac Jones.
I can't see how the Niners would be able to afford to keep him with what he's going to command this year if he goes free agent. Like,
he pretty much balled out for the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I felt like he played better than Purdy this year.
Hey guys,
yeah.
We're out of time.
We're out of time, guys. We have to bail. JB's up next. Thanks everyone for joining this morning. There'll be some more news tomorrow. We'll see you later. Have a great day, everyone.